Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. Oh, did I turn on my microphone? Yes. Okay. Hello. Are you guys ready for this lesson today? We are going to do, this is going to be the last new lesson for the week. And then tomorrow, I'm going to do a review lesson so we can remember everything that we've learned. Hi. Hello, Daniel. Hello, how do you say your name? Mir? Hello, Amit. Hello, Mohammed. How are all of you guys? Oh, my day is going very well. It is a little bit, it doesn't look like it, but it is a little rainy today. It was just pouring outside. It was raining really heavily. Hello. Yes, I'm back with another lesson. So today we're just going to learn one new idiom. Okay, today is just one new idiom. And then tomorrow we will have a review lesson of all of the words and idioms we've learned this week. Okay? Good morning. Hi, everyone. Wow. Very nice. We have a lot of different countries again today, which is wonderful. So I think I have a little bit of a cold still. My voice is a little bit strange today. Sorry about that. Hello. Hello, Ahmed. Hello. Okay. So we'll just jump into it. Okay. So here is the idiom for today. Today we are learning a dime a dozen. A dime a dozen. Have you heard this expression, this idiom before? Oh, hello from Kurdistan. Hi. Okay. So who knows a dime a dozen? Who knows what this means? Well, first of all, we have two maybe new words if you don't know. So let's look at a dime. Dime. So a dime is an American 10-cent coin. American 10 cents is called a dime. Unfortunately, I don't have a dime with me right now. Oh, maybe I do. Wait 1 second. I'll look in my purse. Okay? If I have a dime, that would be really lucky. But a dime is just a 10-cent coin in America. So I'll show you if I have one. I have one. Wow, that's so lucky. Okay. So this, can you see this? This is a dime. This is a dime. This is a 10-cent coin in America. Let's see. I think it says dime on it somewhere. Yeah, right here. Can you see the word dime at the bottom here? Ooh, that's hard to see. Yeah, it says dime. Can you see that? Oh. Okay. So this is a dime. It is a very small coin, right? A dime. So a dime is worth 10 cents. Okay, 10 cents. So it's very cheap, right? I don't know what you can buy with this. Not very much. Okay, so a dime is a 10-cent coin, and a dozen, does anybody know what a dozen means? So you'll often hear this in English. So if you go to the bakery and you say, I would like a dozen donuts. So a dozen means 12. A dozen means 12. Oh, do you want to see the dime again? Okay. Somebody's asking to see the dime. It has, ooh, this is a dime, and on the back, on the bottom, it says dime. Can you see that? Maybe it's a little bit blurry, but this is a dime. Yes, 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 very good. So a dozen means 12. So if you think about a dime a dozen, so if you can buy 12 things with this one little coin, that means the thing that you're buying is very, very cheap and maybe very common, right? So if you can buy something for a dime, already it's cheap. If you can buy 12 of something for a dime, very, very cheap, okay? So a dime a dozen, what does this mean as an idiom? So it doesn't actually mean that you're buying something with a dime. It means that something or a person or anything is very common, very, very common and of little value. So as an idiom, a dime a dozen means something that is very common and of little value, almost worthless. Okay, so if you say this about somebody, like, for example, if you're to say, English teachers are a dime a dozen, maybe I would be a little bit sad if you said that. It sounds like they're common and kind of worthless. So a dime a dozen. Be careful how you use it, okay? So let's get into the examples. So I wrote some examples for you. Okay. So the meaning is at the very top. So a dime a dozen means very common and of little value. So remember that, very common and of little value. Okay, so let's look at the first sentence. So examples. In Japan, convenience stores are a dime a dozen. I'll put that a little bit closer. In Japan, convenience stores are a dime a dozen. So I live in Japan, and there are convenience stores everywhere. So I think walking from my closest station to my house, I pass 3 or 4 convenience stores. So that means they are very common. So in Japan, convenience stores are a dime a dozen. Okay, let's look at number 2. Opinions are a dime a dozen. Opinions are a dime a dozen. Okay, so that means that everyone has an opinion. Everyone has an opinion. So sometimes, even if somebody doesn't know what they're talking about, or somebody's not an expert, not a professional, but everyone has an opinion. So that sometimes means opinions are common and maybe of little value. If you don't know what you're talking about, your opinion could be of little value. Opinions are a dime a dozen. So as you can see, number 1, convenience stores. This is like a physical thing. But here, opinions. An opinion is not a physical thing. So you can use this idiom for non-tangible things also. Okay? And let's look at number 3. Oh, you took a screenshot of the example. That's great. Yeah, you can take a screenshot. Number 3. He thinks he'll be famous someday, but aspiring actors are a dime a dozen. He thinks he'll be famous someday. So maybe he's dreaming of becoming famous, but aspiring actors, so aspiring means you are trying to become an actor. But if you go to Hollywood, aspiring actors are a dime a dozen. There's so many of them, and maybe many of them are not good. So aspiring actors are a dime a dozen. Okay, understandable so far? Oh, very good. Nowadays, private universities are a dime a dozen. Very good, very good. So you're getting into number 4. So I gave you 3 examples. So number 4, I would like you to finish number 4 and give me something to write here. So number 4, a dime a dozen. So what do you think is a dime a dozen? Can you give me some examples? So I see, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Inger Ahmed said private universities are a dime a dozen, which is a very good example. Does anyone have anything else that I should write here? Do you have another example, a dime a dozen? Something that is very common and maybe not worth a lot. Okay. Private universities is a good one though, because that's pretty true. Yeah, this will help you with your speaking because in America, at least, we often say this when we want to talk about something that's like really common. Okay. Who has an example? A dime a dozen. Please write it in the comments so I can see it. And if you have a really good one, I'll write it here. Okay. A dime a dozen. Who can give me something that's very common? So we talked about physical things like convenience stores, opinions, or people. People, aspiring actors are a dime a dozen. Oh, hello, welcome. Brother says, my words are sometimes a dime a dozen. Oh, that's a very good one. Yeah, so you could say, if somebody talks a lot, you could say, oh, your words are worth a dime a dozen. It's very cheap to get your words out because you talk all the time. Okay, can anyone else give me a good example? Something, a dime a dozen. What do you think is very, very common and of little value? Oh, you're welcome. Okay, maybe we'll go with, here, I'll write it down here. Okay. Let's see. Oh, hello. Is your name Shayam? I'm very bad at pronouncing different names. Sorry if I pronounce your name wrong. I'm not trying to insult you. Okay, so I'm gonna put, let's see. How about we could say, oh, very good. Political issues are a dime a dozen. Yes, that is a very good one. I'm going to write that one down. Political issues are a dime a dozen. Very good. Political issues are a dime a dozen. That is very true. There's so many political issues in the world, right? Okay, that is a great one. Okay, so I'm going to read them one more time. So please listen. And if you'd like, at home, you can repeat out loud, and that will help you with your pronunciation. So the idiom is a dime a dozen, a dime a dozen, a dime a dozen. Okay? So number 1, in Japan, convenience stores are a dime a dozen. In Japan, convenience stores are a dime a dozen. Number 2, opinions are a dime a dozen. Opinions are a dime a dozen. Number 3, he thinks he'll be famous someday, but aspiring actors are a dime a dozen. He thinks he'll be famous someday, but aspiring actors are a dime a dozen. Okay, and then the last one that you guys helped me with, political issues are a dime a dozen. Political issues are a dime a dozen. Okay, so get used to hearing a dime a dozen, and try saying it out loud. Okay, so once you get used to using it, you're going to sound a lot more fluent You're going to sound like an American speaker. It's going to be great. Oh, hello, Frederick. Frederick from Switzerland. Hello. Oh, very good. I'm glad you remembered a dime a dozen now. That's excellent. So please practice it. And tomorrow, like I said before, tomorrow is going to be a review lesson. We're going to review all of the idioms that we've learned this week. So from Monday to today, we're going to review all of the idioms that we learned. So please go back and study those lessons, and then join tomorrow's lesson, and I'll give you some excellent exercises. Oh, from Afghanistan, hi. Okay, so I think that's it for this video. Oh, wow, we've already been going for almost 16 minutes. Oh my gosh, thanks for staying around. Thanks for sticking around. Okay, very good. So just remember, this is a dime, very, very small 10-cent coin. And if you can buy many things with this, if you can buy a dozen of something, that means that it's very common and probably not worth a lot. Okay. Oh, thank you, Frederick. Yeah, you can review the lesson anytime. I leave them up on the Facebook page. I might start uploading them to the YouTube channel also, because I think not everybody watches both. So I'll do that too. The exact time for tomorrow. Okay, so I didn't decide yet, but I should probably decide. Okay, I'll decide right now so that you guys can have time to. Okay, how about, So I live in Japan. So I live in Japan Standard Time, JST. So if I say tomorrow's lesson will be at 12 o'clock JST. So maybe 3 hours earlier than today's lesson. Is that okay? Oh, okay. So if you're just joining us, a dime a dozen is what we studied today. So a dime, this is a dime, a 10-cent coin to buy many of something. So a dime a dozen means that something is very common and not worth a lot. Okay? So my time right now is 3:24 in the afternoon. So 3 hours earlier than today is when the review lesson will be. Okay? Okay, thank you. All right, so I will see you for tomorrow's lesson. I'm looking forward to it. Please go and review the past week's lessons. Okay. Thank you very much, and I will see you in the next lesson. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.